Hi, everybody. This is Victor here from Trend Following Trading for Beginners. And in today's episode, I want to talk about the 6 stages of trader development journey using my own experience. Coming up next. Hi there. Before I start, I just want to say that whatever I say in this podcast is based on my own journey, my own research and experience. You might most likely disagree with them, and so those are just my views. So if you don't agree with it, that's fine. Take a pinch of salt and take what you will from there. Also, these stages are just the way that I sort of define different level of development of a trader. A lot of the traits and actions sort of overlaps each other, but I just want to, those are my stages. So if you think some of the traits that you have is all over the place or different levels, it just has to be just a different guidance and experience that I have. So I just hope that you found it useful. So okay, first of all, what make me do this episode? Basically, I have always tried to understand how people trader develop, and I read books about them and also internet research about them, and I basically come up with my own little stages. Some people have 4 stages, some people have 10 stages, whatever. But I think these 6 stages that I'm going to share with you guys quite typical of what we all as a trader develop from nobody to somebody more experienced and start making money from the market, to all those people that we inspired to achieve those level, the saints level, which I call the final level, level 6. So at the start of the journey, using my own experience, stage 1, when I first started trading, basically it's more like privatization in UK. After Margaret Thatcher came into power back in the 80s, a lot of companies, the public company go into private hands. So first of all, start with British Telecom, BT, which basically give you the telephone line in this country. And then now after that is the bank privatizations, and also the water boards, electricity boards, and so forth. So it's sort of all mixed, and depends on where you live in UK. Just because you live in, let's say I live in Bath, the local water board go from public into private, and then basically come with some shares and stuff. Simply because I'm one of the customer in Wessex Water, I become one of the water boards, and I got shares for it, 100 shares for nothing, basically just because simply being a client. I sold that and make some money out of it. Also, electricity board as well as the banks. I'm sure if you in UK, you have been here 10 or 20 years back. Think about it. Probably about 16 years ago, when especially the banks privatizations, a lot of banks and building societies, become public, and then the shares in the stock exchange, so to speak, and they just give free shares to the clients. So whoever keep money in the banks, however small, I think the qualification is 100 quid or something, very low. You become a investor, so to speak. So long as you got money deposited in the company. If you are a borrower, like a mortgage borrower, you don't qualify. But for an average Joe who just save money in the banks, we somehow got a bit of windfall. Company privatized themselves, and we got a bit of shares, and a lot of people like myself who know nothing about share trading just sold them and basically make some money out of it. And after that, what we did in UK at the time, we had something like what we call opening bank account. I don't know what the word for it. In different banks, those ones that haven't been privatized yet, there's rumors to be, you can read newspaper about it and suddenly jumped over and opened a small bank account, 100 quid in it, spread over the place. And some of it happens, some didn't turn into sort of like a public company or something, and you don't have any shares on those stuff. But a lot of them did, and a lot of people make money out of that. And that's my first taste of the stock market and make loads of money out of it. So basically, this first stage, I call it the new kid on the block stage. Clueless stage. I don't know anything. started off accidental, by giving some shares and sold it, make money out of it. So that was, nice, easy work, and start to do a bit more of it. Like say, go to different banks and open, accounts and spread my saving a bit around, and then make money that way. But those are things that you don't. It's not sustainable, and I sort of got hooked on it. So it's quite easy to make money then. Just have some shares, you don't have to do anything and you make money. That's good. But it's like, how does the share market work? Why do people want to buy those shares? So I keep them, so I sell them. What's the tax I need to pay? What's the benefit to me if I want to keep it for longer? That kind of thing. What's dividends, checks, and whatever? I have no idea. I need all of those stuff. All I see basically at the time is dollar signs. Like all of us started off, let's say, Bitcoin trading. People talk about Bitcoin, especially the media, the financial news, saying how much Bitcoin has gone from what, couple of hundreds go to thousands, and got highest about 20,000 or something crazy, and people got sucked into it. Some people make loads of money out of it. A lot of people don't, and that's a lot of how a lot of us started off. I call this a clueless time because I have no idea how to trade, what's my risk are, what trading decision I need to make, how much I should put in, when I should get out. There's no stop loss. I don't have a plan. Haven't read any books. I just basically follow the herd. And newspapers say this bank might have a higher chance of, going to the stock market, and therefore I put some money in the bank to just open an account and so forth. And I absolutely have no clue what to do. And blame everybody when things don't turn out, and I just continue that way into normal shares, and even like newspapers, read about them, and there's tip sessions in some of the financial pages to say, buy this share, sell that shares or something, and some recommendation based on that. A lot of times I don't make any money out of it. I lose quite a lot of money, and slowly and surely, what happens? I blow my first account. It's not a lot of money, so especially a lot of this money, the seed money, is from people going, companies going privatizations, and I keep those money, and some of I use it to buy things, other I go and do trading. So overall, from my pocket, it's not a lot of money, but my trading account basically blow up, and I sort of think, okay, oh, never mind, this is not my cup of tea. I don't touch it. And basically, I stopped trading for a long while. And then, I still continue to read the news, the financial pages, still fascinates me. And then I just wonder, is there another way I can make money out of stock market? Think of the way I started, so, clueless. I don't know what happened. And I thought, okay, let's, at the time also, because I keep tab of the financial news and paper, there's a lot of advertisement going out there at the time, about 10-15 years ago. Basically it's the tip sheets, buy this, like they're all into small to medium sized companies, not big large caps, and they show you a table, those tip sheet companies to say you start at nominal 100 grand, and then after about 5 years old they make like 300 grand or something. And they're all sort of companies, some some you don't have any clue where the hell they got those ideas from, but all seems to have one thing in common: they are making money. Wow, that's good. So I gone back in again. Now this is what I call stage 2, a new beginning. First time gave up, didn't do anything for a long time, then somehow got back in, still have my tin hat on, so to speak. Got a bit of money put aside for rainy days. I took some of that out for trading, and then start subscribing to tip sheets. Instead of one, I have 3 or 4, I remember. Each one of them costs like 200 quid or something, 150, 200 quid a year, and some of them all talk about the similar shares in different areas, and some don't. And I basically use that, and I spread myself quite a lot, on different shares and stuff. And initially make some money, and then slowly don't, because what I found is when the price of this medium penny share sort of things moved, there's no news There's no way the financial news tell you things. Um, the trading, the tip sheet only comes out once a month. And there's nothing online that you can check. And then you just see the price plummet. You don't know what to do. Or sometimes it moved up, so I sell. I have no idea, and I wait and wait. And then sometimes what I found is the tip sheet then say, okay, if this happens, and we'll probably sell some. And then what inevitably happens is they actually sold some at certain prices. But of course, they're not by your side or something that you can just check quickly. And by the time they sold you, because you didn't follow through with their advice, you didn't sell on time, and then they sell on a better price than you do, and then they make more money than you do. When you followed it through, a lot of time I found actually fail. I didn't make as much money as the tip sheet said, and I could never achieve some of those prices. Even though I sold within that month, they sell on different dates within a month. They never say, if you touch this price, sell a third, or touch another price, sell a third, and that kind of stuff. They never mention about your mental state. They never mention about how much you just start up with, and so forth. Those kind of things. So I have very sporadic result. A lot of time, make some money, but never close to what they said. And after a while, I just sort of give up. And also, I feel some bad losses as well, because I didn't follow my plan. I didn't follow what the tip sheet said. The price continued to fall. I was hoping against hope the price will come back and break even. Then just let me go, not let me out of trap, so to speak. I didn't take my losses at all, and then below my account. So that's my second stage, and also at the similar time, I not just newspaper, also watch a lot more TV channels. I mean, Sky, those kind of things, where they have financial news times on. I so listen to them. But I found that they're not much of a use. Also at this stage, in those days you don't have, stock brokerage quite expensive when you buy and sell shares. It's not now so easy. You can download an app. Every time I buy and sell, it's cost me between 20 to 30 pounds. And so even if without me making money, minimum I'm losing like 40 quid just for, going in and out. They're not making any money. And now to pay for the tip sheets, I don't have a computer then. So all those are the costs. And I haven't sort of start reading some books, most of them like Random Rock of stock market or something. Those traditional fundamental view, those kind of books like that. Nothing much sticks, and then try to learn about more company information from reading through the annual reports. A lot of them are free, and you just basically have to write to them. And that's the time when email is not still available yet, so you have to write to them, ask them to send it to you from the stock exchange. And yeah, it's a big thick document. When it lands, it's a big book, and after a little bit of reading, I sort of give up. So I was very confused every time I dig in, try to read a bit more. My mind, got confused, like a cloud, and then it started to get hurt, and then that just stopped, totally confused. I don't know where I'm going. And that's the stage. And also, I believe at the time there's some holy grail. There must be some secret source. Many people I read about on newspaper, these people making money. Why can't I? And I just want to have find out the secret, the get rich quick scheme. How can I make money? Those kind of thing. Essentially, with very little layout, hardly any work except from reading newspaper or tip sheets and make money. Just following somebody. People out there, they trading it, they making money. In the financial industry, I thought they know what they're doing. What turned out to be, that's not the case at all. Lost quite a bit of money and lose heart as well. And always have this funny feeling that, there is some sort of secret holy grail method that I can use. Also, I started learning about indicators and stuff, and always thought, they were that kind of thing, which I found, no, not really. After the fact, so to speak, when you look at it, there's no such a thing as a special indicator that works all the time. That does, but this stage, so you believe in Santa Claus, so to speak, and you thought there's some special people out there with some secret who have some special thing, charts, calculations, whatever, that tells you when to buy, when to sell, right? And nope, not at all. I don't have a plan. I haven't got a clue. I have just tip sheets. I blame everybody else. I don't take any responsibility of my losses, and I lose money. Sometimes I make money. Most of the time, I end up losing money. And also I develop a very bad temper because losing money, I just feel not good. And also the other thing I sort of, in retrospect, start to realize that as well now, is that when during that stage, because I'm a B borderline A student in school, a lot of times I basically, link not making money, I lose money, to be, not making the grade, so to speak. Is that I'm wrong, and I don't like to be wrong. And so on the mental side, not just losing money, I got a bit pissed off when I lose money, that kind of thing, because I'm wrong. My ego is at play. And I always want to make my money back. Sometimes when I get lucky, I make some of them back, but ultimately I don't control my risk. I don't watch what I'm doing. I have no clue, and I, at the end of the day, blow my second account. And basically, it suffer from varieties of issues, like big losses as well as small little losses. I call them shark bites and piranhas bites. Basically just lose money, and basically again I give up, and but I also realize, slowly after thinking about it, when not trading at all, thinking, there must be a way. I might be doing something wrong. The books, whatever I read, or these chart indicators, everybody, I believe what I read, okay? And I thought there must be some way out there, some people with a special system, special source, special chart patterns that I can buy from and learn from, that kind of thing. And it turns out, there's no such a thing. I mean, that's after the event. But it took me a long time to realize that. And again, I stopped trading. Blocked my second account, quite a few thousands over there. My wife was furious. I was married in. My wife's not very happy with the money I lose, but that's just how a lot of people develop, especially men. We don't like to say that, we don't know a thing, and we just plow on, as if nothing much happened. And our wives and girlfriends probably think we are morons. I certainly, looking back, I feel like, yes, I'm a moron. I was really stupid. But that's how we all learn, right? And then, but always behind the fact that I thought, there must be something I can do, especially I'm an engineer, going into software, very systematic thinking. I always thought, there must be ways. Indicators are just maths, right? So there must be some special thing, that calculation you can do to if I just stick with it, then I should able to capture a lot more money from the market than, keep on losing. And I realized, waiting for other people to tell me what to do is, it's not right. It's a losing thing to do. So from there on, I basically, when my downtime, I was thinking, why I should go back, not always had the urge in the back, say that this is possible option for me to, earn some money on the side as well. And I just basically never give up on those one. It's always slowly developing, and I gone back in again. Now at this stage, I've gone through knowing nothing, start to learn a bit about it, relying on third party, somebody else tell me what to do, and follow them and find out those so-called gurus and experts who sell you tips and services. They don't know who the hell are you. They don't know your situation. They don't know your risk tolerance. They don't know how much you have, and what your situation generally is. How many accounts you're blowing up, that kind of thing, and how much you're willing to trade each time, and how much you're willing to lose. Those kind of simple things that if you have a plan, and you have to devise and write them down first. I haven't got a clue. So the next stage for my development was stage 3, the developer. This is my learning curve. It took me a long time to learn this. So in this stage, I sort of basically read loads of books and try to learn from them. At the time, I started using a simulation account, that kind of thing. Basically, just hypothetically, there's no trading simulator account online those days. So I just have a piece of paper, write down with the Financial Times, especially I think the weekend paper have the whole week of details, like the past 5 days, how the share have gone through and things. And so I stick with the large caps of things I know, the water boards, the electricity board, telephone, banks, those kind of things. And check those, work through them, and write down those numbers upon my little chart, so to speak, and read through loads of books and try to learn a way to find a way to work things through. And also I was looking for a mentor, basically looking for somebody who've done this before to give me a hand, or a trading system. I could never find a mentor, just the way it is, I suppose. I didn't reach out enough people, I suppose, and try to write to some of those people who wrote books, and none of them wrote back at all. Basically, then I just try to find, just follow the books and see what they said, and try to get my head around things, but don't seem to be working. For me, what I found in this stage is you learn a lot, but you have no clue. There's no guidance. Okay, you haven't found somebody or a book at least that speak to you, that kind of things, and then you basically jump between systems. Every book that you read, options, day trading, chart patterns, Fibonacci's and whatever, histograms, MACD, RSI, blah blah blah, whatever chart indicators, they all seems to, explain to you, seems to make sense. But when you actually try to use them, don't seems to be. So basically, this is what I found in my feed development phase, learning phase, and essentially information overload is at the same time don't know what information to use. Just too many things. Like I said, everybody seems to have some special source or some method, some clue. They all seems to be making money, but you guess not me. Why can I do that? Where's my method? Where's something that I can use? And basically, it took me a long time to realize that all those stupid ways. When I look back, it's like system jumping, method jumping, try to find me a mentor. I don't even know who I am. What my good bits are. I mean, what I'm willing to do. That's the main thing. What I'm not willing to do, and I treat it very much like what you call just like a hobby. Like I used to raise fish. Discus and angelfish. And I thought if you do certain things, certain temperature, certain pH level, certain time you change water, and that you will make money. All right? So just like selling fish and other things, I do it in a small scale, selling to a fish shop. Make some money that way, right? So just like simply raising fish, just method. Follow a plan, follow some step, it will work, right? But nope, it doesn't, because there's something called trading psychology. Trading psychology is not about trading method itself, but also you. What you are willing to do, and what's your good points, what's your personality, what's your bad points, what's your emotional state. All of that, I've never even think about it. But I start reading some books about it. But it bores me, because at the time all I want is, give me a goddamn method. Give me something that I can work with. What this psychology thing, it's totally, it's like horoscope kind of thing. I don't understand it. I don't even want to use it. And I start just reading a lot of chart patterns and stuff, which sort of speak to me. And I sort of take it on as like, oh, this head and shoulders happen, this bull flag, bear flag happens, what happens, and you have a higher chance of making money. I sort of take it as, oh, if this happens, that the other pattern most likely will happen, and therefore I go and trade that way, and which slowly turns out not to be the case. But at least I was, have a method. I'm looking at charts. I don't have to rely on some other people or newspaper and stuff. I still read them. I still try to get the tip sheets and things like that. But I slowly, drifting away from my stock, not renewing and not watching as much, financial TV or read so much financial newspaper. I read a lot more books, learn about technical analysis, learn about charting and stuff, and try to paper trade my way and see if I make money, and start small little trading on the side as well. Seems to be better, but again, there's nothing about risk. Nothing about how I should manage my own account. Nothing about writing things down. Nothing about learning from your mistakes, reviewing that kind of stuff. Not even any habits. All I have is just like, yeah, I write things down on and off. I read a lot of books, and all of them still very much confusing at the time. I have no idea what I'm capable of, what are my, self-aware, so to speak, what I'm good at, what I'm not good at, and find something that fits my personality. And also one thing that I never even take into consideration at this stage is my normal living habits. I have a 9 to 5 job. I got 2 kids at the time, not 4 then yet. And then, my wife sort of working as well at the time. How am I going to fit all that in? How am I going to trade? And with, the modern requirement of raising a family in this day and age, I got boy and girl at the time. And basically just, especially my daughter's always on me. My elder son's always on mommy. So it's easy to look after them, but they're always at hand. I don't have any quiet time, so to speak, to just think. Only after when they go to bed, but I'll be too tired. So this learning phase took me a long time, juggling like a lot of people with her family as well, and it's difficult and takes a long time. And I stick with just paper trade, do technical analysis on using books and plot my own chart, those kind of things, and all sort of different types of charts, but don't find them seems to work at all. And also I read some books and they talk about trading plan, so I start writing things down, but I say before, I don't stick with them. Even the simplest things of writing things down, like when I buy, when I sell, how much I buy, how much I sell, at what level, what method I use, chart method or whatever, or is it a hunch, what's the reason doing it. I don't even write the reason behind it. I just record, like, when do I get in, when do I get out, how much I pay for it, and what's my cost, brokerage fee, those kind of things. But one thing I realized after writing that down for a little while, I found, I go in and out market very often, and I'm not making myself rich. I'm making the stockbroker rich. Like I said, like before, every time I go in or out of the market or do a trade, the round trip costs me between 40 to 50 pounds. That's even before I'm making any money. And because I do so many so often, especially those days, they say, okay, you trade 10 or 20 trade a month, and you get this reduced rate, like 10 quid or something, rather than 20 or 30 quid. But because the added frequency you do that, trade a lot within a short space of time every month, and you sort of sign up to it. Otherwise, you get charged the normal rate. You spend a lot more money on your stockbroker. And after I wrote things down on that front, I realized I'm making my stockbroker rich. Not me. I'm not making money. I'm losing money. And that's part of the power of the plan. Write things down, you slowly realize it. And then when I read more books, then I start to realize, there's other things you can put down. Like reasonings, do some analysis about your statistics, how much win rate, fail rate, those kind of stuff, But the other thing is, at this stage, I still blame others. I still actively try to find the Holy Grail, the special source. I blame I'm not making money because I haven't found it yet. The market is against me. This chart pattern said head and shoulder is working. It broke the neckline, so the share should go down, right? Same as height of the head. The head and shoulder head pattern, the length of head pattern to the neckline, right? On the reverse side, nope, it doesn't happen. Most of the time, I find it doesn't happen. It broke the neckline. It followed the books. But it do something else totally reverse. It goes side trade. It go back up. Rarely actually follows through, like maybe 2 or 3 times out of 10, that kind of thing. Sometimes even lower than like only happen 2 times out of 10, that kind of stuff. But the book said that's correct, that's the way. But then you thought, what the heck? Why is it not happening? No, it shouldn't happen that way. It's the market out there trying to get me. Somebody must be watching. My stockbroker must be playing with me or something. And then I basically go into asking a stockbroker again to help me. They charge me quite a bit of money for their advice and service, but don't seem to work either. Don't seem to make me money. Initially it seems to work, make a bit of money, but slowly what I found is the stockbrokers more interested the brokerage fee, asking you to go in this market thing is good, blah blah blah. And you try, most of the time you don't make money or just like break even. You're lucky you break even. And stockbrokers making more money than you do. And so slowly I sort of get up from that advisory service. I just found, it's just not good. And I started to take some responsibilities by, those losing trade. I try to write things down and think, why do I lose? What can I do to stop losing? Start to, evolve, start to learn from my own mistakes. So start to take some responsibility, but I still blame everybody else. Blame. That's just how it is. And slowly but surely, what happened? I blow up my account again. And this just how it is. It's very, very bad. And whatever books and things I read about the things I need to do, I'll write things down and follow through some plans and things like. I really seldomly follow them through. I mean, when I follow them, I mean consistently. Every trade you take, you write the same thing down again and again. The only thing I really write down is when do I buy, when do I sell, which day, how much I buy, how much I sell, and what is the brokerage fees. Slowly then add, like I said, the reasoning. Oh, I feel a bit better then. Because also what method I use to write those things. That also helps. But it takes a long time, and but the problem is I'm not consistently doing that. I only write things down as when I feel like it. When I have time, then I write things. So it's not very good. And of course, when my account blew up and I reviewed the account, I still suffer loads of shark and piranha bites. Big losses, huge losses, and a lot of small losses because I go in and out of the market, in and out. And again, making the stockbrokers rich. And basically, I at this stage, I give up. I give up quite a few times. I just go back to my natural state, not having any trade on, and think, what can I do? The funny thing, through all this development, to me anyway, this up to this stage 3 now. Stage 1 being the clue, new kid on the block. Stage 2, a new beginner, start again. Let's find somebody who is in the industry to help me, to tell me what to do. And then thirdly, try to learn a bit more about, don't rely on others, try to learn about yourself, read books and stuff, or try to find mentors. And this stage, I sort of like, okay, I blow up now, this stage 3. But one thing that always in the back of my mind is, I don't know, maybe it's just the riches in front of me that I really want to or something. It's always something in the back of my mind, I just don't want to give up. It's just something I found myself. When I start something that I really like it, I like, the money side of thinking about it. I love it when I make the money. I love it. I can take my children to different places, holidays and stuff, and pay for things that I'm not normally able to when I make money. It's very, very satisfying as a father, and also as a husband to provide my wife and some extra stuff. That's very, very good. But I think at the end of the day, is this nagging feeling at the back of my head that never give up. It's just a trait that I have. I always have that in the back of my mind. So yeah, and I blow my third account. I basically just give up for a while, recuperate, think, and learn from my mistake, licking my own wounds, writing things down and learn things. And then which is the next bit. The next bit basically like trying to find a mentor. Okay, I couldn't find it, but then on this, I got into something what I call, this podcast, trend following. So slowly I start reading about, Michael Covell's book. His books, as it comes out slowly, seems to speak to me. There's all these hidden people somewhere or some industry that using, the funds, hedge funds and stuff, using trend following, systematic, quantitative, mathematical based system that, for me in my logical mind, I quite like it. I think, this is something that I can chew on, something I can work with, possibly in my cup of tea. At least I think I can work on that. Just numbers, right? And a lot more logical thinking. So slowly I take it more on, and also I use Michael Covel's trading system, which also follow his books as well, the Complete Total Trader, which talks about it. And so I basically uses that, and slowly, the system that was given, I purchased that system. Is quite expensive to me anyway at the time, but it introduced a lot of question marks. It's asked me to do a lot of things, a lot more stuff than before, and it also introduced me psychology again, trading psychology, which I read some books about before, back in stage 3. So in stage 4 now, I'm called systemize. Try to develop my system, put my system bits and pieces together, missing pieces and stuff. Still missing quite a lot of things, but luckily, because got to know about Michael Covel's stuff on his website and through his courses, I start to pick things up, start to learn, what's, the use of the stop loss, how I should just keep my money dry, how I should risk management, and slowly but surely, one thing lead to another. What I seen in this stage 4 is I start to have a plan. I start to write things down more consistently. I know what I'm writing down, capture more details of it, and it's very, very useful to me anyway. And what I also see is those shark bites. I see a lot less of those shark bites, and it's very useful for me. And but I still suffer from a lot of piranha bites because, like I said, I'm still developing at the time. I don't follow my system. Even now, sometimes I got a bit weak, tired. I don't follow my systems, and what I found is slowly, because I found if I don't follow my system, I lose money a lot easier than if I follow my system. So what I did is I follow my system, and I put in the one account. That's my trend following trading account, which I talked about in my podcast. And the things that like discretions and stuff, I put in a separate account, which much lower amount of money. So if I don't follow, my trading system, trend following systems, I go back to my charting and stuff, or hunch, or whatever field I looks like, the chart and things I put in the separate account. What I learned is I don't ignore my emotion. They're there maybe for a reason. But what I do is I step back and look at it. Does this have value? It might be able to make me some money. I don't know. But I put it on one side. I put it on a separate account. I trade very small on it. So if it make money, good. If it doesn't make money, it doesn't make much damage. It's very little damage because it's also in a separate account as well. So it doesn't contaminate my main account, my trend following account. And slowly and surely I start to make more consistent money. Also consistent mistake. It's not all over the place anymore. It's more like consistent, similar type of error. It shows up. So when you review your stuff, your trading journal, you try to find, okay, these are the things that's broken, that's keep on coming, that's not working, and you keep on coming out with the same, bang your head against the same wall, and you see the same pattern, and you start learning about it. Try to readjust. One thing I learned about from my engineering background is what we call a control system. Basically, I think I talked about it before. Take a bit of output of whatever my trade is, and put it back as an input for my next trade. So this reviewing of your trading over time, that's why I sort of do it. Once every 3 months at least. Every quarter do that. If I can, if I have the time, I do it every month, that kind of thing. But at least once a quarter, that sort of shows up in my review of trading. Did I do things right? Did I follow my plan? If not, I need to tweak. I need to make sure I follow my plan. And then when I follow my plan, what should I do? Put that extra bit of method, sort of like cell adjusting, control loop, closed loop system. So take a bit of what I've done from previous trade, learn from it, that review process, whatever I come out from it, stick that back in as part of my rules, my trading rules. A lot of time it's not a rules of mathematical based rules, but simply because I bought my system, trend following system through Michael, and then I use my experience to say, okay, this might be my psychology rules, those kind of things I need to watch out on, and then also put that into my risk management and the trading size, that kind of thing, to make myself easier to to understand how the whole thing works, and slowly but surely, become more consistent if making money, also making mistakes, and those mistakes I slowly can work them through. And in this stage, I start to read about McDonald's. I think I talked about it in my previous podcast as well. One thing about McDonald's is I still loved it, and I still read those books every so often, once a year or so forth. One thing about McDonald's is they are not good at producing the best hamburgers around the world, but they are good and very best at a system. Okay, think about it. Doesn't matter where you go in the world, it's always run by young kids or young adults. Okay, who hasn't got any clue about the hamburger business. Okay, but they have a method. The method is systemized and step by step, and it tells exactly what to do. And then basically they produce an average hamburger, run by kids who have no business experience, no catering experience, and they still able to produce a standard hamburger. And all this relies on one thing: system, a robust system. They also review the systems, but clear and precise steps. And those are the things that I took away with it when I read about McDonald's and the books, the Golden Arches, those kind of things. Go and find those books. I think there's a film mix about the McDonald's brothers and stuff. Go and watch it. It's very useful, and it sort of helps me to put my mind together. And then as I start making money, start keep track of what I do, what I don't do right. And I also talk to other traders not more often, try to learn from each other's mistakes on this stage, And I found myself, this is my, this calling of making money slowly making sense to me. I can see that I'm making money slowly, not a lot, very little in fact, but my losses is very much reduced. So the good thing is at the end of this stage, I'm still in here between 4 and 5. I haven't blown my account, which is good, Before, like every year or so, I just blow up, but now I don't. But I still have a lot of habits that's not good, and try to learn from it. And I'm slowly developing those habits. So, and also I found the other things, I read a lot more books. Before I do, and now the books, the type I read about is not just trend following, it's very much on trading psychologies, and not just on trend following, but other books as well. But meaning, if they have a good session about systematic trading or trading psychologies, risk management, those kind of things, I read them a lot more than like the chart patterns and stuff, because like from the trend following, it's very much mathematical based. You got a system, you just follow it through, but you don't need to know how does that go, why does that work. But the main thing for me is I found is to follow those trades, each of the system that tells you what to do, and each of the signal take them every time. You need to have the psychology to actually take it, even though you have been losing money last 10 trades, you still take the next trade because your system tell you to. And how you have that psychology background behind you to actually think that way. It takes time, much more time to over time and develop it, and it sort of took a lot of time. And the other thing I didn't realize then, once you're at this stage 4, when you start not blowing your account, and at least not making much money, but more or less break even. One thing people don't realize, I think I talk about that again as well, is we are in the more or less top 25-30% of the people who trade overall out there. Most people lose money. 75% people loses money, and they give up. At this stage, I didn't give up, and I'm on more or less break even, make a little bit of money. Not very consistently still, but at least the big shark bite chunks gone. And I'm working on my bad habits, and writing things down better, and start making a bit of money. So I'm therefore now the 25% of people who are either break even or making money. That to me took me a long time to realize that, that I'm no longer killing my account. I'm start making some money. I don't blow things up, and I'm in the top 25% of people. Not those like Warren Buffett, 0.1%, whatever up there. But at least I'm on that top level now. I'm no longer a little rookie. I'm no longer just keep on losing money, banging my head against the wall. At least I know which wall I'm banging against now. I know how to avoid it, how to put a cushion in front of me, and how to stop myself from banging my head against the wall in the first place. And because of that, simply by following my rules, but just my risk management, I've reduced my loss, the big shark bite, the big losses, and that saved me. That saved me a lot, and that also means I have money left for taking my next trade when the trading system say to take the next trade. So that to me is very, very useful. And also keep my risk in check, so able to basically keep my trading account alive, so I can take the next trade. And at this time, I'm still doing a part-time. Like now, I'm still doing part-time, but it gives me more options. Actually, I don't know if everybody else I've been buying about the last months or so make quite a bit of money out of this drastic, suddenly bear market. And also now we got a bounce, make a bit of money out of that. But I don't believe the bear market is finished. But trend following, when you see large, big trend, sudden trends happen, if you follow your rules, you make money very, very quickly, and a lot of money. And that is what I experienced. And that's very good for me anyway. But that gave me an option, so now I don't have to worry about my job too much. I still love to have my job because of my noodles, so does it make me think, so to speak. But I have the options to, if I have to stop work for 6 months, I don't worry about it because I got money on the side to actually, keep myself afloat. But to actually come to this stage took me a long time, and I still prefer doing part time. Because want me to stay in front of a screen whole day is just not my cup of tea. And also I got busy lifestyle, 4 kids. It's not easy for anybody, and try to trade 2 particular hours in the morning with 4 kids running around, all in different stages of development, all different age. You try to sit down in 2 hours, I say, 9 to 10, 9 to 11 every single day. It's a bit difficult, So that's just me anyway. But also, the other thing I also found during this stage is keeping tab on my ego. I start to understand more or appreciate more about probabilities. I start to appreciate that, it's not more probabilistic trade, that every trade I trade not necessarily make money. When I lose money, so long as I follow my plan, it's good trade. Losing money doesn't mean that I'm not good or I make a mistake and that's bad. So long as I follow my trading plan, and if I lose money, fine. So long as that money is within the risk that I've done before I put on the trade, within that risk level, that's fine. That's just how it is. That's how I learn. And also the main thing over here is I keep on reviewing my mistakes, reviewing my good, bad, and ugly trade, and learn from them. And slowly, surely, I improve. Just slowly learning. But also, the trading system got from Michael Covel is very good. I keep on talking about his books. And also, the way that thinks systematically, one way or another method, slowly building things up. And that's also very useful. And that's basically stage 4. I'm more or less around that. But the stage 5 also, go between stage 4 and stage 5 is a lot more heavy on the psychology side. On stage 5, I believe, which I'm hope to jump into, something between stage 4 and stage 5 is that now I got my system, and I personally haven't used it for long. Long is mean like decades. Really know inside out, and also know myself. I'm still working on myself. But the main thing over here on stage 5, I believe, is more about trading psychology. You got rules, you got the systems, and you want to check, to prove to yourself, in my view, that everything works, even not just the last 50 years data, maybe the last 100, 200 years data, you can get your hands on it, and then convince yourself that your method works in those up and down time. I mean, in 200, 300, or even 1,000 years before, there's still one thing, the same. That human beings is there. We do some sort of trade. It might not be a stock market, but we trade out what our belongings, our hunts, our food, those kind of things. Trades always goes on, and trading psychology is something that maybe there's a new name for it nowadays, trading psychology. But human beings have emotions, greed and fear, and trading psychology go hand in hand with your trading system, and you're not able to understand it. Your system might say go in, but you are so fearful. Let's say you lost 10 times, and every time you lose 1,000 quid. Last 10 times a losing trade. For normal people, lost 10 grand and still continue to take the next trade is quite difficult in my view. Once you develop a certain level, you might think, 10 grand is nothing. That's just half of my trade. Trading day, some big guys do that, or people who work in banks. But for average Joe to lose 10 trade, £1,000 at a time, 10 grand, and continue to move ahead, it could be quite difficult. And this is level 5, what I'm saying, stage 5 is trading psychology. You work on yourself, you understand your systems, you haven't found a system for a long time yet, just recently, so to speak. You still want to prove it to yourself with old data, but you start to take a lot more interest about how your emotional work, your greed, your fear, who you are. You try to find out, what makes you tick, so to speak. What situation works well for you? What works best for you? And you stick with certain system. You stick your system is there now. You stick with certain market. What I try to say is, that market seems to work better for you with your system, and you just stick with that. You specialize. You don't go around, spread yourself everywhere. Like you're into technology because you understand it. Your thinking is in gear with that, and then suddenly you go and turn into perhaps food industry. Okay, fine, it's still money, but you might only thinking let's get the one thing straight for. Let's stay with technology, which I understand. Again, it's still numbers. At the end of the day, I can move to healthcare, to buildings, insurance, to banking, or the food industry. Still numbers, but at least at this stage you're a lot more locked into your system, the numbers, the trading psychologies, and most of all, it's about yourself. And you keep on working about yourself, about your flaws, your bad things, your bad habits, and build on your good habits, those kind of things, and develop yourself. And you start in this stage, in my view. I think I read a lot of books about those. You make a lot more consistent money. You're able to make money to basically have the option to not to work, but you still continue to trade, and you might be trading for somebody else at this stage as well, and you're making quite a bit of money, and you're constantly still working for yourself, working on yourself, find out who you are, that kind of stuff. And slowly, surely, you instead of top 25%, you become a top 15, 10% of people who make quite a bit of consistent money. Maybe trading for others, and every time you take, some profit share, kind of things like that, and you make loads more money. And a lot of people just envy you at this stage, of what you can have accomplished, what you have, disposable income, those kind of thing. But they don't know how much emotional training you have in the background. All those things are actually going on, and you also have this stage. You become more or less your own boss. You don't have to rely on a job if you don't want one. You can actually trade for a living. That's just my view. And you basically much more. You have the freedom, basically the time to do what you like. You continue to do trading because the money generated from it enable you to do maybe charity work, or stay at home, just look after your kids or loved ones or sick ones, or just have your own business about trading, or writing things, or podcasts like myself, counseling. But you continue work about your emotion, work about your trading psychology, you work about yourself. But you got at least that choice, especially, which I talked about last episode, at this day and age, this month or two, especially last 3 weeks, so many people, not pension funds, just get destroyed, as well as the job get destroyed. They go into lockdown because they're forced to go into lockdown by local governments because of this virus, and a lot of us are feeling very uncertain at this time. I'm an IT guy, I can work remotely, so my job is much more secure than a lot of people say working in a restaurant. Their places, for common meeting and for enjoying the food, and because of the scale of passing the virus through, talking, spraying from the mouth spray and things, sneeze. Your restaurants or your place of work being forced to close, and you have no income. and it's very scary, especially you got kids, to look after, not just on your own. You got kids and dependables, and if you actually have taken trading or another form of way of making money, that you actually have a choice. Then save up some money is one thing, but like I'm sure a lot of people still trading or going into trading now. They'll start to learn about it because they're stuck in the house, just like watching Netflix. People start thinking, can I buy and sell things through eBay a bit more? Maybe trade, earn money that way. But it's a way of thinking. That you got these options. You no longer have to. It's always sticking in my mind. This Oliver Twist things. When he got asked for the crime boss for more soup or something, he say, "Please may I have some more." I turn it to say, "Please may I have my job? Please may I have a job?" I've gone through that and asking for other people for jobs, looking for jobs, and think it's not fun. And having this opportunity to able to develop your own skills to enable yourself to have this, side business, so to speak, and make money out of it, is very satisfying and definitely very useful. You no longer rely on other people's whim or virus or some trade dispute between different countries. You're safe, okay? But most of all, you also find out the other thing is what make you ticks, who you are. You start to think a bit more, not just working 9 to 5 like a working beast. You start to think about, what really works or you really don't, and then you build a system, or your system will work around you. And you also believe, and I believe personally, that hard work paid off. Some people are born to trade, good with numbers, good with trading, and so able to control their mental state better than others. I'm sure about it. But to me, this stage, between stage 4 and 5, I realize, even though you're not gifted in any way, so long as you work hard, you can make it. You can make something out of it. I'm sure, just like cooking, we can, not everybody can become a Michelin star, Gordon Ramsay kind of thing, able to cook loads of lovely food, but to be reasonable in kitchen, I'm sure it's a learning skill. You can learn and repeat and repeat and repeat and make lots of stupid mistakes, but because you love food so much, you continue and continue. And slowly but surely, you become a quite good chef. People start to take notice of it. Can you become a Michelin star? I don't know. That's more like top 1% in the food industry, but you're good at it. With some like-minded friends, you'll be able to open a restaurant and work together or something. Even home cooking for your own family, you should be able to do that. And that's what trading for me anyways. I found it, I work hard, I'm able to find things and find my way through, and that's quite useful. And also understand who I am, what I feel, or what my greeds are, what I want, what I don't want, what I work at. What I need to work at, what my strong and weak points are. So it's very, very useful. That's for me in stage 5. Stage 6, the final stage, I feel I must aspire to actually go into that one. I call it the Warren Buffett stage. You found your system, not just found the system, you also found yourself. And you basically have a system that works for you, and your system become an extension of you. You are your system is you. You have no fear. You totally understand your system. You have gone through tons of decades of ups and downs, and you're happy with where you are. You know what your weak points are, your bad points are. You know what you're doing. You basically can put down a trade, like Warren Buffett buying multi-million pounds company, or put on a trade, hundred thousands of pounds without blink of an eye. Okay, you do it because you trust your system, and that's sort of within your risk, your 1% or 0.5% or 2% risk, whatever you predefine risk is. You stick with that rules, and you know your system so well. It's just extension of you. There's no fear, there's no if, there's no worry, there's no missing out. You know what you're doing. So going back to Warren Buffett, he stick with his own system. He stick with his own way. There's lots of books written about it. I remember back in 2003, before the dot-com bubble blows up, the news media wasn't very kind to him, saying, he's gone by his way is no longer valid. He didn't, stick with the change of time. He should be in .com. So some company that have a web page, selling things online, blah blah blah, and his Berkshire Hathaway account share didn't go up that much or gone down a bit at the time, and people was laughing at him. But he stuck with his gun. He continued with it, and then dot-com bubble comes. All those people, all the financial people, critics start laughing at him. Where the hell are they? They're not there anymore. They're not there. And then, but Warren Buffett's still here. He isn't joking. He's actually say he continued with his latest technology of brick and mortar or something to that effect. He stick with old industry that understands. That's his system, his way, and he didn't divert from his way simply because the fade, like fashions, other people wear shorts, and you always like to wear jeans. You wear shorts, fair enough. You wear jeans. At least you wear the way you want it to be. You understand which make you comfortable. You don't change your style just because everybody else around you is changing their style. So in this stage, this same stage, you know who you are. You know what you are, and your system basically become part of you, and you become part of the system. The way you talk and do things is just that's the philosophy for me. And you become who you are. Your system become who you are, and there's just no if, but, what, greed, and fear. You just do it. You just continue to do it. You are yourself. Your system is you, and you in tune with each other. And basically, you don't care if other people point fingers at you. Say you're gone yourself by date. You're a loser because you didn't go into Bitcoin, those kind of thing. No, you just stick with your system. You stick with what you know. You continue with your method, and you make money that way. It doesn't necessarily make the number one. Make the best of those money. Billions at a time. But like Warren Buffett is still there, 29, 30 years or experience of 30 plus years trading. It's still here. Your compound, compound rate of return about 30%, 29-30%. Well, so many people have blown up. So many smarter people have blown up. Right before their eyes, his eyes, is still here. And this is something that you need to learn, at this stage. There's a lot of people talks about or write about Warren Buffett's way, his books, how he trade, how his business, way of managing the business. But I think it's not often talked enough, or even books written on it. Is the psychology. What he does fit him. That's his style. That's who he is. It comes out from the way that he do things. He totally comfortable with the way that he's actually trading. And at this stage, the same stage, you become that. You are happy where you are. You know exactly what you do. And you don't worry about it. Like, the person I follow a lot, apart from Michael Covel, is Tom Basil. And I listen to his tweets and read about his tweets. This is just another guy. He's retired now. He's only trade every so often. Trade very minimal size and things. He's out there teaching people. And it's just so I think what you call market research call him Mr. Serenity. But the way that I see grow and stuff, and the way he shows himself and carry himself, and show himself on the tweets, is like he's so really calm, in tune with his system. He don't care if in the last 3 weeks or last 2 months the market basically fall down and come to a halt. He just follow his system. The system say turn, change, risk on, risk off. He just follow. He just continue to do his stuff. He's not going to stop. He just continue and trade and trade and trade. And that's just him. That's how how this type of level of people will trade. And I call this the saints level, God level, so to speak. They really know what they're doing, and they just continue. And on the other hand, maybe, because I like cooking and self-defense, maybe you can look at, Bruce Lee, Jeet Kune Do, the way that he takes, all different forms, Wing Chun's, fencing, boxing, kicking, hand trapping, and put them all together and become Jeet Kune Do, become his own system. Okay, if he is still alive, probably still continue evolving his system, but that system become him. That's who he is. Okay, and he express himself that way through his art. And you as a trader up to that level, you have a system that's become you. You don't have to do anything, because it becomes part of you. And you just continue, stay there. You totally understand what you have in your hand, in your systems. You become part of that, and you're very happy with it. And also, at this stage, I feel you most likely whatever money you take from the market, you don't just feed yourself and your immediate family. You start to help others. You don't just help people to learn about trading, but you actually have the hard dollar currency, the money, to actually help other people as well. Oftentimes you don't even talk much about it. Just go on and help people. You take the money out of society, put money back in society, and helping others. And that, for me, is the ultimate level to we have. Don't just about take money. At the end of the day, is what you use with your money. How you use it, and how you benefit others as well as yourself, of course. I like what Wimper Alfrey said. You want to help others, you make sure yourself is full. You're strong, you're overflowing with gifts and stuff, so you can help others. And other people just leave what you're overflowing. But you first must be very strong and stuff. I like those quotes. And I think at this stage, stage 6, the same stage, you have that. You have the opportunity, and you will. When you have so much money flying around, you become, maybe, from what I read, other people, it's like they just, pay money out to help other people. You won't win, you won't even need to ask. You just go there and help others, because you become part of the duties, and the money make you, ultimately enable you to do what you want, to help others as well as, enriching yourself, which is what I inspire to. Okay, so this is just the 6th level of trader development. That's just my view. I hope you like it, and I speak to you soon. Bye for now.